Okay, so we're going to look at enharmonic equivalent notes real quick because there's quite a discussion about mixing and matching sharps and flats into the same key signature, and people getting confused about how enharmonic equivalent notes work. In the 12-tone system, there are about 9 different notes that have 2 different names. C sharp is the same thing as D flat. D sharp is the same thing as E flat. E sharp is the same thing as F. Do not ask why. The interval between E and F is only a half step. So E sharp and F are the same thing. E and F flat are the same thing. F sharp is the same thing as G flat. G sharp is the same thing as A flat. A sharp is the same thing as B flat. B sharp is the same as C. And again, the interval between C and B is only a half step. Do not ask why, but that's how it is. B sharp and C are the same thing. B and C flat are the same thing. In any given scale, you're going to have the names go from A through G, and the letter name is only going to be used once. You're never going to see flats and sharps mixed together. That would create way too much confusion. Now I have an entire video on the order of sharps and flats and how they relate to the circle of fifths. So I'm not going to go through that whole spiel in this video. Just understand that you add sharps and flats in a certain order, and it all has to do with the circle of fifths. So in the case of B major, you have an F sharp, a C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, and A sharp. So right away, your leading tone, that is an enharmonic equivalent. It is the same thing as saying B flat. A G sharp, that's the same thing as an A flat. F sharp, that's the same thing as G flat. D sharp, same thing as E flat. C sharp, that's the same thing as D flat. So why are we not using flats instead of using sharps in this case? Well, because this is actually going to be easier to read, because instead of having 7 flats covering up the staff, you only have 5 sharps. So in this case, it actually makes it easier to read. Now, if you were to be in the key of E major and not have that A sharp right there, then guess what? D sharp would be your leading tone and E major would be your root. And in that case, there would be absolutely no point in having flats, because then hypothetically speaking, you would have 8 flats in the key signature, and that would just be a train wreck. So seriously, it pays off to learn your music theory beyond just knowing the keys of C major, F major, and G major, and maybe occasionally D major. I mean, it pays off in the long run. Now here's a enharmonic equivalent for you. G flat major is the same thing as F sharp major, and in this case, it doesn't matter. You're going to have 6 flats. You're going to have 6 sharps either way. That's just how the cookie crumbles on that one. And in the case of flats, if you want to figure out what key you're in, just look at the last flat that was added and go back 1 perfect fourth. So from C flat down to G flat, you would be in G flat major. F sharp major, the last sharp that was added, that's going to affect your leading tone. And as we already discussed, E sharp is the same thing as F natural, but we can't say F natural and then F sharp in the same key signature. That would be grammatically incorrect, and it would create a mess if you try to write it that way, just to make it easier. Every major scale, every minor scale, they all go by the same pattern. They all go by the same whole step, half step pattern. It's not a big mystery. All you have to do is just review it some and work with it. Practice. There are 9 notes that have the same names. Those are called enharmonic equivalents. You can't mix sharps and flats into the same key signature ever. That would create too much confusion. There's a reason why you go up to 5, 6, or even 7 sharps for a key signature. That might be the most simplified way of writing it. And the Roman numeral system is going to tell you what major chords and what minor chords are in your key signature, and even what diminished chords you have. Again, I hope that this helps somebody, and you have a good day. Peace.